Hey everyone, Felix from Nintendo Life here, and I am in a very good mood today because I have properly played Super Mario Party Jamboree. Besides getting to play the game on this giant projector screen with my colleagues, yeah, it was lovely, I also got to go hands-on with the single-player mode. All in all, there was just so many new details, new information I learned when I got to play this game, so here I am to talk all about it. Where do we even begin? Well, we can start with choosing rules. So a really cool feature that this new Mario Party has is the addition of Pro Rules, essentially competitive Mario Party. So let's go through all the changes this brings. You can only play 12 turns for some reason. You only have one bonus star and it can be one of these three, so the Sightseer bonus, the Eventful bonus, or the Slowpoke bonus. Then you'll also start with an item and it can be one of these 8 items. There's also some spaces that has been changed. For example, chance time spaces are not even here, and Bowser spaces, you always lose a star. Items are limited in stock, and this stock is shared between shops, so if there's only 2 double dice left, if you buy one in the other shop, there'll also only be 1 left. Woo! There'll be small signs to show where the star can spawn over the map. You can see in a bit more detail here, so when 1 star space has been used, it cannot be used again until all star spaces has been used. The Boo always steals a fixed amount of coins, you cannot drive it away or press the button, it is always 15 coins. Hidden blocks are simply not here. You vote for minigames, which you can actually also turn on in just regular Mario Party. I'll touch on that just after this. The home stretch special event will not be present, and you might be wondering, what is the home stretch special event? Well, essentially it's this roulette that plays that will affect the last 5 turns of the game. So instead of the last player just gaining an item, this could be, for example, that there's more Bowser spaces on the board. Yeah, these can really change things up, but here they're just nowhere to be seen. And the last thing to add is that you can duel stars. Oh yes, please. And that concludes the Pro Rules. Personally, I think this is incredibly exciting now. It must be said that I did not get to try this out. I only had one evening with the game, and there I just got to try out the base rules when I played. So yeah, let's talk about what I mentioned just before, that you can select minigames. You can vote on minigames. Actually, this feature is not available in your very first game because you have to play one game to unlock the Pro Rules, and I don't think they wanted to spoil that you could vote on minigames. But luckily, you can use the voting on minigames in regular play. So it's just a little toggle, so either you can have the minigames just be selected randomly, or you'll get 3 random minigames, and then from there, every person votes on the minigame that they want. Very much akin to how Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's online mode works. So according to the votes, they just get lined up, and one of the votes gets picked. I personally think that is the way to go. I'm going to be playing like that all the time, because if there's a bad minigame, which in Mario Party Superstars there definitely was, and you didn't want to play that, well, you can just not vote on that. No one wants to play a bad minigame, or maybe they want to see chaos. It's just wonderful. I love that addition, and I hope it's here to stay. Before we talk about the main experience of how it was to play on the boards, I just want to talk about the overworld itself, because when you're in the air balloon, you can kind of look around, and I was surprised of how interactive this all was. Now, I will break it to you because I know a lot of people have been speculating, what is this crack in the wall? Unfortunately, it is just the aftermath of an NPC boxing the wall. See, on this overworld, there's loads of different NPCs that when you zoom in, you can take a picture of them. And as you can see here, they just disappear from the overworld afterwards. They can reappear later, but unfortunately not as exciting as everyone thought. What is exciting though is the addition of achievements, and these achievements work as a little battle pass. So they fill up this meter so you can use it on different shops in the Party Plaza. Another thing you'll find in the Party Plaza, besides being able to change your settings there, is the single player mode, which I also got to go hands-on with, and it's actually really fun. So in my example, I got to try out the first world, which is Goomba Lagoon. Here, all the spaces are grey and you can just walk around them freely. There'll be NPCs who want you to play minigames, or they just want you to find an item which you can't access until you find another item. I mean, it is quite simple, but it's much better than what we had in Super Mario Party. There's a lot of charm, and I personally had a really good experience with it. Now, besides the single player campaign, there's a lot of different modes. You have Minigame Bay, and here I actually learned some really cool information. Not only did I get to see all the different minigames that there were in the game fully on display, but it is now confirmed by me that there's only 10 different allies, and these are Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, Wario, Waluigi, Yoshi, Rosalina, Donkey Kong, and Bowser Jr. And something else that I got answered that I was curious about was how many of the minigames are motion controlled, and as you can see here, the answer is 15. But moving along, we have the Bowser Islands, which is Bowser's Kaboom Squad and Kooplathon. Now, these modes are either online or you need a Switch each to play it locally, and we only had one Switch with the game, so we could not try these modes out. What we could have tried were the 3 motion control modes, which is Rhythm Kitchen, Toad's Item Factory, and Paratrooper Flight School, but I'm sorry, I only had an evening with the game, as I said earlier, and I wanted to play the main show, which is what we're going to talk about now because it is delightful. Now, I got to try out 2 boards, and the first one was Mega Wiggler's Tree Party. I had actually tried this one before at a Nintendo preview, but this time I actually got to select all the rules, I got to play it to the end, and there was a lot of interesting things happening in this one. I'll just reiterate that the presentation of this game is absolutely fantastic. The way the different characters line up, the animations when you get a star, and just playing the mini games, they all it's good. It's so good. My one complaint though, and I do have a complaint, is that there's simply too many lucky spaces. At least on this board, there was always, if you took one path or the other, one of them always led to a lucky space. And to me, that just sucks because it makes mini games just feel less important because sure, you can win in a mini game, but you can also land on a lucky space and get an item or just the same amount of coins you would get if you won the minigame. To me, they're still overpopulated, but the other people didn't really seem to mind, and they have actually made some nice changes to the lucky space. For example, I didn't see once that you could get more than 15 coins, and I don't know if this was the case in Superstars, but I noticed that players in front had less options than players in back. So here you can see the first place and last place side by side. Now, you do still have a lot of coins at your disposal. Luckily, golden pipes are still 25 coins, it's still 50 coins to steal a star, but perhaps the biggest plus is to do with the ally system. I was actually really afraid that the ally system, the Jamboree buddies, would be a big issue because it just seemed very unbalanced, and I can answer that you cannot turn it off. At least I looked around in the settings, it is just baked into the game, and I was concerned. So I was actually really surprised to see that it actually works really well. In our first game, Donkey Kong spawned in turn 8, and we didn't get to him until the penultimate turn, turn 9, so we didn't have a whole lot of time to use the Jamboree Buddy, and in the second game, we didn't even get to the allies. Wario flew down in turn 4, so quite early in the 10-turn game, but we did not manage to get there, and if you don't get there after 3 turns, they just fly away, as you can see here. A turn later, Mario then came down, and we didn't get to him either, so really, I don't think it's the biggest issue, but what they do bring to the table outside of their unique power-up is that you can do everything twice. And here's where you want a lot of money, because you can buy 2 items, you can buy 2 stars if you have the money for it, but something that we discovered that was insanely cool is that when you go to a boo space, you can get to do the boo action twice. Now in this instance, we didn't have enough coins to steal a star, so first we stole coins, and after that we had 50 coins, so using the Jamboree Buddy's ability to do everything twice, we could now steal a star. Imagine if you have 100 coins, then you can just steal 2 stars. This is gonna be really sick. Now let's talk about the other board I got to play, Rainbow Galleria. Now quickly before talking about that board, we only played 10 turns on each of these boards, and I know there's been a lot of discourse online about, wait, 10 turns is 90 minutes? No. It is not. I don't know where they have that number from, but 10 turns is more approximately like 75 minutes. I guess you could get it up to 90 if you really push and just take a long time practicing the minigames, but it does not take 90 minutes. It does still take a long time, but they have overshot the number by quite a bit. And it was the same when we played Rainbow Galleria. We only played 10 turns, and it actually felt to me that it was too short. This board is quite big, there's 3 floors, and I, for some reason, only hit 3s and 2s and 1s, so I got nowhere. So I didn't even get to go around the whole board before the game was over, so I would advise to play a bit more than 10 turns in Rainbow Galleria. There's a lot of different cool activities. One that stood out to me particularly was that there's a shop, and it's the last place shop, so if you go there and if you're in last place, you can get a huge boost. At least in Danish Monopoly called Matador, there's always like a card that is like if you're in last place and you only have this amount of coins, you can get a huge boost, which never goes to the right person. But here you can strategize and actually be in last place, go there. I don't know what happens because I was almost in last place. I was in third place. Also, the Kamek shop on this board, every item is only 1 coin there. And I also got to see some of the other shops. For example, we have the Boobell shop or this golden shop where every item is golden. You can also go around collecting stamps. There's 4 of these booths, and all depending on how many stamps you have when you reach the start, you'll get a certain amount of coins. 10 coins for each stamp, and if you get all 4, you get 50. This board is honestly a blast, and the only bad thing I can say about it was, as I said earlier, I only had 10 turns on it. I wanted more. But yeah, rest be assured that this game is such a good time. It is my most anticipated game of this year, and I'm so grateful that I got to try out the game before release. Don't forget to click that subscribe button, or if you're already subscribed, grab an ally so you can double click it because you can do everything twice. Stay safe, play some Mario Party, and I'll see you in the next one. Felix from Nintendo Life, out.